Remember the two women that were shot at by LAPD in Torrance because they believe that the pickup truck had Christopher Dorner in it? Well, the LAPD is very, very sorry for what they did. In fact, they have offered to purchase the two women a new vehicle. Thanks,
wow.
God.
Yeah, are they not merciful?
Yeah.
Now, look, I know what they're doing. Like, it's cool, it's cool. Hey, man, we got your new vehicle. By the way, they're not even purchasing it. They're saying, we got somebody to purchase it for you. Okay. Oh, wow. Thank you.
But that doesn't make any sense. It has to come from the LAPD.
No, they might have gotten like some
car
dealership for good, publicity to do it, etc. I think you're going to have to come a little better than that. You almost killed the two ladies when you were shooting at their car under totally unacceptable circumstances. That kind of looks like a car we're chasing. We're chasing. I'm sorry. A car that we're looking for. Screw it, let's shoot before we find out who's in it.
Yeah,
remember, Christopher Dorner, of course, is a large African-American guy. These are two Asian women. So they obviously had no idea who was in the car before they started shooting.
No, Jake, it was just a case of mistaken identity. That's it. At least that's what they say.
Yeah.
So there was also another man. For some reason, he's not getting as much attention as these two women. David Perdue, he was in a different make and model. So he wasn't even in a similar car. He was just in a pickup truck. Mm-hmm. And cops also shot at him, thinking that he was Christopher Dorner. Thankfully, he's okay. But he's like, What's happening here? I mean, are these people trained at all? You can't just shoot at random people, which brings me to my next point. So there have been statements from members of the LAPD confirming that they're using drones to help look for Christopher Dorner. Now, from what we've read so far, these are not armed drones, okay? They're not planning on using these drones to take him out. However, can you imagine, if we're already using these drones to look for people, and we have done stories about multiple police departments throughout the country that have spent money on drones, I can totally see it becoming a slippery slope, where all of a sudden we will use drones to take people out. And if you have the LAPD shooting at people that aren't even in a similar vehicle, thinking that it might be Christopher Dorner, just imagine how much we would misuse drones.
So Glenn Greenwald, as usual, has written a really good article about this, and he says, look, the police chief in LA has already declared him a domestic terrorist. He says in his manifesto that this is a war of attrition, and that it will be asymmetrical war, just like terrorists do. And he said that he will target their family members and even their kids, and knows where their kids go to school. And so there's very little doubt as to whether he's guilty or not. If you had a similar situation in a foreign country, the overwhelming majority of American people would say, press the button, do a drone strike, and execute him, right? So now it's inside the country. How much does it make a difference that it is? Now, Glenn is not in favor of that. We're not in favor of that. But he's pointing out the absurdity of saying, oh, if it's abroad, go for it. Yeah, drone away, right? But here, we've already used drones for police purposes inside the U.S. in a limited way, but we have. This isn't the first case. And when are they going to be armed? And when's the first time they hit a cabin thinking that a guy like Christopher Dorner might be in it?
Yeah, I think that's what the problem was with the poll that you were talking about last week, the poll that said that the overwhelming majority in the United States is in favor of these drone attacks. You think of it as something that's happening in a distant country, in a distant land, and it's not going to happen in this country. But if we're already taking out U.S. citizens abroad, what's going to stop the government from doing the exact same thing on our soil?
Well, one more point by Glenn Greenwald on that. He said, look, one of the major justifications we have for drones abroad is that we don't want to risk our military in doing these operations, because it would be an undue burden, as they say in the legal justifications in their memos, right? Well, wouldn't it be an undue burden on the LAPD to try to get Dorner if he was, let's say, holed up in a cabin? I mean, he's shot cops before. He's a trained marksman by the military. And so cops would definitely put their lives in danger if they're going to do that. If you believe that we can execute U.S. citizens abroad because we don't want to endanger our troops, why wouldn't you execute U.S. citizens here without a trial because we don't want to endanger our cops? That slope is sliding out from underneath us. The drones are already in the air trying to look for Dorner. They're just unarmed for the moment being. How easy is it going to be just to arm them?